But life has many problems. Life has many problems, right? What are some problems that you can think of that life throws at us, right? For some, we drive in Houston. We're living in Houston, Texas, and one thing we see downtown is we see homelessness, right? We see homelessness everywhere we go, right? And so that's a problem that comes up in life, right? There are other individuals, right, that you see as you drive around different cities. Justin's in Hawaii. As you drive around Hawaii, one thing I know that you have to have out there is you got to have some type of health clinic or hospital. You know why? Why we have to have hospitals, why we have to have clinics is because a problem that comes in with life is disease, right? Is physical ailments, right? Sickness. Life brings that type of problem, right? Another thing that we see many times is we see individuals that have anxiety, right? People that have various fears, right? And so because of their process of life and the things that they've been through, they have even mental problems, right? And we see life has so many problems. Life has so many problems, right? But this statement says the gospel is a wonderful simplifier of life's problems. Think about that. The gospel, right? We're talking about the gospel message of Jesus Christ is a wonderful simplifier of life's problems. Now, I want us to look at a couple scriptures, right, as we lay our foundation today. And we're talking again, the discussion is about what the gospel teaches businesses. That's what our discussion is about. It's what the gospel teaches businesses. But in order to understand what the gospel teaches businesses, we have to go and peer into the gospel and its purpose, right? So when we think about Genesis chapter 3, right? I want to read a couple verses in Genesis chapter 3. We're going all the way back to the beginning, of time. And we want to look at this story of Adam and Eve after they have eaten of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? What was the result, right? What was the result? After God came, he said, hey, Adam and Eve went and hid, right? God is saying, why are you hiding? Adam says, look, I heard your voice walking in the cool of the day, and so I hid myself because I was naked, right? Who told you was naked? So look, this is what Jesus tells to Adam, right? In verse 17, Genesis chapter 3, verse 17, it says, unto Adam, he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, right? Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Now, let's continue. Thorns, verse 18, also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face you shall eat your bread, till you return unto the ground. For out of it were you taken, for dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. What is God telling Adam? When God created Adam and Eve, he made them to live forever. They were supposed to live forever. They were literally never supposed to experience death. They were never supposed to experience the loss of life. Adam and Eve were never even supposed to understand seasons. What do I mean? They were never supposed to see leaves falling off of trees because they were dying. They were never supposed to experience that, right? But they had to experience that because why? What was the initial problem? Sin. Sin entered into the world, right? So sin is the cause, right? Sin is the cause. Death is a result, right? So one of life's problems, right? One of the problems that we have in this life is sin. It is actually a cause, right? It is a cause. Another problem that we have in this life is death, right? Death is a result of the original cause, right? But it's a problem that life presents. Because remember, we're thinking for anyone who's just coming in and tuning in, we're thinking about this quote that said, the gospel is a wonderful simplifier of life's problems, right? Well, life presents problems that both have causes and effects, right? Sin is a cause, death is an effect, right? Now, when we talk about the gospel, it was introduced, right? Now, obviously, we know that nothing takes God by surprise. And so in his immutable counsel, he already understood what was going to happen, and he was already prepared for the issue. But I want you to understand that when God introduced the gospel to Adam and Eve in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, when he introduced it unto them, he introduced it unto them in order to solve a problem. That's why God introduced it. He introduced it in order to solve a problem, and the gospel actually solves both the cause of life's problems and effects that come from the cause of life problems. The gospel does both. The gospel both solves the cause and the effect of the problems, the issues that are now involved in life. And do we know that that's true? What is the result of the gospel? Well, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 tells us that the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Why is death destroyed? Because death is one of life's problems. Death. Have you experienced that? We understand that our life is finite, right? We are going to die. As long as the earth continues, right? Death will be a part of humanity's reality, right? It doesn't matter. Young, old, everybody will go through a process where they will end in death. Why? Because that is part of the problem that life presents into us. But the gospel is given to actually solve life's problems. It solves the problem. How? By first addressing the cause of the problem. It addresses sin itself. The Lamb of God came to take away the sin of the world, we're told. And then after sin is put away, it deals with the result of the sin, which is death. Death is destroyed. There will be no more death. We're told in Revelation, right? Let me read it into your hearing. Revelation chapter 21 in verse 4. Let us see the end of the gospel, right? The end of this gospel that is given. In verse 4 it says, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. There shall be no more sorrow, no more crying. Neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. What are life's problems? Pain is a problem of life. Crying and sorrow are problems from life, right? Death is a problem that comes from life. But these problems are solved by the gospel. They're solved by the gospel.